You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, it's almost the beginning of the school year, hard to believe, and we're going to learn more about the process districts go through for hiring teachers.
And an old elementary school in Joplin comes down to the ground.
And we've got an alert day today for dangerous heat this afternoon and then strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. A lot to talk about. We'll bring you that full forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 a.m. now on this Wednesday morning, it is already very muggy outside, even at this hour, and that is a sign of things to come. It is going to be a dangerous heat day, and then we've got strong, severe thunderstorms tonight, so we got a lot to talk about in that forecast today.
It's also a very special day. You know, they say you can give an apple to a teacher, you know, as if you want to give them a gift or something, tradition of giving them an apple. But if you really want to be a teacher's pet, you could give them a whole pecan pie.
With a squirrel.
Yes.
I just broke the squirrel.
Oh. Well, today is a National Pecan Pie Day. Yes. And Circle's Pecan and Country Store gave us a pie that we're going to be digging into later this morning. But anyway, back to the school.
Yeah,
topic.
Almost time for school to start.
Yeah. As the beginning of the school year gets closer, districts in the area are gearing up, and hiring teachers is an essential part of that process.
At Carl Junction, for example, has hired 39 new teachers, and 2 other positions are still open. KOAM's Fernanda Silva spoke to 2 of those new hires, including one who knows the district well.
Lexi Miller attended schools in Carl Junction her whole life. In the fall, she will walk on the same highways she did as a student, but now as a teacher. A member of the class of 2018, she will now partner with teachers who she learned from.
Some of the teachers who were my teachers back then are still teaching there now, so it's really cool to be able to experience that with some of them.
Lexi will also go back to a familiar place, the volleyball court. The former athlete will now be coaching the freshman volleyball team.
I really want to bring in that a work ethic with my kids and start it when they're young, learning to love school, but then also love things outside of it and combine the work of being in a team and working together into the classroom as well.
We're always proud about how many of our own graduates come back and teach with us. So most are from this area and from our local colleges and universities.
In total, Carl Junction schools have more than 400 teachers who serve more than 3,200 students.
Across the state, people are seeing that there's a need for quality educators. Fortunately, I think we've been very fortunate in that we've had quality applicants to fill all of our positions.
Danielle Wilson will also join the team for the fall semester. She will be teaching early childhood special education, bringing her 12 years of experience working in a center for autism.
I was looking for something to be challenging for me, and a classroom of 17 kids is going to do just that, and I'm excited to get kids ready and work in a school setting to, again, get everyone ready for the rest of their lives.
In June, the new teachers went through a training.
Well, for students, the school year doesn't start until August 21st. For new teachers, summer is going to be over sooner.
They will be back to school in the second week of August.
So we train in everything from the simple things like logging into your email and our systems for attendance and grades and things like that, to specific classroom expectations, to our programs that might be more specific to grade level.
I expect just to help kids feel comfortable in the classroom, as well as love coming to school, just because that's whenever my love of school started, was right from the beginning, and so I want to instill that in kids as they come up now.
In Carl Junction, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Well, the hiring process for Carl Junction schools started at the beginning of last semester.
And the new hires went through a training last month and will go back to school 2 weeks before the students. And it's a good thing they're not going back to school right now, because it is incredibly hot as we head through the next couple of days. We've got heat advisories and excessive heat warnings out there for some of us. In southeast Kansas, we've got these heat advisories that run through 9 o'clock. Bourbon, Crawford, and Cherokee counties, as well as the rest of southwest Missouri, they run until 7. Ottawa, Delaware County, heat advisories until 8 tonight. And for the rest of northeast Oklahoma, excessive heat warnings until 8 tonight as well. And that is because as we head into the afternoon, our temperatures today are going to be pushing at or slightly above 100 degrees. degrees with heat index values pushing 105 to 110. So you've got to take this seriously. You've got to be taking precautions out there. On top of that, we have a severe threat tonight. So by midnight, storms just starting to enter our northern counties. And as we go to about 1, 2 a.m., we see a few more of these strong to severe thunderstorms. They look to start to focus more on southwest Missouri as we go from 3 to 4 a.m. And then by about 5 or 6, that first batch is out, but we could see some redevelopment of some stronger storms by about 6 a.m. and they should be out of here by about 8 or 9. Then we'll spend our Thursday really hot as well. Before the evening hours come, we see more thunderstorms across the area, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe. So of course our rain chances, you can see they really ramp up as we head into the overnight hours and start to drop off by tomorrow morning. For our severe threat overnight tonight, we do have a low-end tornado risk out there. We also have an elevated hail risk and wind, and these hatch marks indicating the possibility of hail greater than 2 inches in diameter and winds 70, 80 miles an hour out there as a possibility tonight. We have that low-end risk for some strong storms tomorrow night into Friday, and then Friday night into Saturday, we go back to a low to elevated risk. Quick check of temperatures out there right now. We're at 73, but the dew point and humidity both high, making it very muggy out there. And temperatures around the region, again, a warm start, 72 Nevada, Fort Scott, 69 Iola, 74 Chetopa, Miami, and 72 in Neosho. We'll have another full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, one Grove, Oklahoma man is pronounced dead after a fatal accident claims his life. Clifford Garrett of Grove, Oklahoma was traveling westbound on Missouri 90, 5 miles east of Jane, Missouri. His 2006 Harley Davidson overturned into a ditch, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Missouri man enters a plea deal for the hit-and-run death of an Aurora man. The incident happened in rural Berry County, Missouri last year. Derek Coburn pleaded guilty to charges including first-degree involuntary manslaughter, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death, and tampering with a motor vehicle. He's sentenced to 24 years in prison for those charges. Officers gave him credit for 373 days of time served, and the sentence runs concurrently with another case in Lawrence County. Now, the victim in this crash, 38-year-old Patrick Anderson. He was killed when Coburn's truck failed to yield and struck Anderson's motorcycle. The bodies of 2 children are recovered from Lake Overholser near Oklahoma City. The body of the first child was recovered Monday night. The other was found early Tuesday morning, and police say there were 4 total boys at the lake fishing and celebrating a birthday. 2 of the boys decided to swim while the other 2 stayed on the shore. One of the boys swimming lost a shoe, so all 4 boys went in to get it, and that led to all of the boys getting swept away in the current. According to the 2 who were rescued, the other 2 kids are 10 and 11 years old. Out with the old and in with the new. Demolition is underway on Joplin's Columbia Elementary School. Columbia and West Central students combined to start classes in the new Dover Hill Elementary, which opened in January. And back in May, former students had the chance to take one last walk through Columbia Elementary and reminisce. You can see more of the demolition and read about the history of Columbia Elementary on our KOAM News Now app. Well, coming up, we've got Michael Hendricks and David Clevenger in studio to tell us all about an upcoming car, truck, and bike show that's going to be happening in Webb City.
And later, it's a small community with a really big fish. We'll learn more about the Big Fish Supper Club. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Be back after this, but first, got another live look from Cherryvale, Kansas, because that's where they're holding the Cherryvale Youth Fair.
Places.
In Health Watch this morning, troubling news for anyone planning to take a cruise this year. After years of decline, the norovirus outbreaks are now surging on cruise ships. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there have been 13 outbreaks of norovirus on cruise ships so far this year. That's the highest number of norovirus outbreaks on cruises recorded since 2012. Now, the exact cause of this year's uptick in cruise-related cases remains unclear, but experts believe the soaring demand for cruises and record number of passengers might be behind it. Temperatures across the U.S. keep getting hot. And as the country bakes, communities across the south and the western U.S. are broiling. Kevin Cork takes a closer look at where the mercury is expected to keep rising and how you can stay safe.
Extreme heat continues baking large pockets of the country to a crisp, especially across the Southwest.
It is oppressive.
Excessive heat warnings and advisories seem like the new norm for communities in Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Southern California, and Texas, where temperatures near and over 100 degrees are expected throughout the remainder of this week. In Phoenix, Arizona, the mercury has been in the triple digits every single day for roughly a month, according to data collected by the National Weather Service.
It's hotter and hotter every summertime.
And while hot temperatures are normal for the summertime,
we have very clear evidence that global warming is the primary driver of that increase in the frequency of severe heat.
The stubborn heat poses health risks for everyone, but young children and the elderly are more susceptible.
Be mindful of your medications. Some medications can increase sensitivity to heat.
Outdoor workers are also facing elevated risks for heat-related injuries.
Start early in the morning and try to beat the heat.
Besides limiting time outdoors, the CDC recommends drinking 1 cup of water every 15 minutes when working in the heat.
And while people are flocking to beaches to stay cool, I wish I could be, ocean waters in the Gulf of Mexico and Southwest Atlantic are actually 4 to 5 degrees warmer than normal. And that's according to the National Weather Service.
Day for us across the area today. It's going to be hot, dangerously hot. Right now, though, we're at 73, but that dew point is already up there. Same with the humidity, and it is very muggy out there across the region. Temperatures, we've got 72s in Nevada, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Carthage, Parsons, 73 in Chanute, 71 Neodesha, and 74 in Chitopa and Miami. As we get our morning started, we're going to heat up quickly under mostly clear skies. We're going to make it up to about 88 by late morning, and as we head into the afternoon, we've got highs pushing at or slightly above 100 degrees. That means heat index values as well, 105 to 110. So this is very dangerous heat. Make sure if you have to be outside, you're taking precautions, staying hydrated. If you don't have to be outside, don't. It's just too hot. We're not going to get any relief from the heat as we go into the evening hours. Could see a stray shower or two around 10, 11 o'clock. And then overnight, we've got our strong to severe thunderstorms between roughly midnight and 6 a.m. And we're going to drop back down into the lower 70s. We've got the possible alert day tomorrow because we're looking at another hot one, 99 degrees. We'll have strong storms Thursday night into Friday morning as a possibility. And as our severe threat for tonight, we are looking at the possibility. We've got a low-end tornado risk. We have an elevated hail and wind risk out there as well, so something we're going to be keeping a close eye on. We go into our Friday, another hot one, partly cloudy through the day, almost at 100 again, and then we have the possibility of strong or severe thunderstorms once again Friday night into Saturday morning across the region. But the good news is by this weekend, we actually cool off a little bit into the upper 80s, and that's going to feel like springtime compared to today, tomorrow, and Friday. We're going to start to warm back up as we head into next week. We got some scattered thunderstorm chances on Monday. Temperatures soar once again. Upper 90s, near 100 by the end of the week, and maybe a couple of showers possible for us Wednesday morning. So not a lot of relief from the heat in sight across the area. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Also, Oklahoma.
I got it.
Welcome back. We've got a really fun event coming up, and I've got two guys in here this morning to give you all the details. We've got Michael Hendricks and David Clevenger here to tell us about a big bike, car, and a big show coming up.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
You want me to do it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, put me on the spot.
The name of it, Boomtown.
Yes, the Boomtown Bike, Car, Truck Show. It's something that we started back in 2020. We started it in the memory of his late wife, who passed away on July 4th. That's why we have the Glennis Choice Trophy. All the money that we raise goes to the foundation that we started in her name to help give back to our community and the kids in our local area.
Let's talk a little bit about this foundation.
Okay.
How are you giving back to the kids in the area?
We do several different things. You know, we've teamed up with a couple local places, and we go shoe shopping for kids right before school. We'll take them and buy them new shoes and socks. Backpacks for kids, you know, or there's several people out in the community, they'll reach out to us and say, hey, we know this family that can't afford Christmas for their children, and we'll try to donate to them to help provide Christmas for those children as well. It's all about giving back to our community.
Is this something that Glenna was particularly involved with when
Very,
she was alive?
very. She was always, anybody that knows her, she was always saying, honey, I'd come home, she'd be like, honey, don't get mad at me, but I did this for so-and-so family, or I did this for so-and-so, and she was all about the children. And there's no child that should suffer if they can't afford, you know, sports, anything like that.
Yeah.
So she was all about the kids, so that's a way to keep her memory alive.
That's awesome. Okay, so real quickly, let's talk about this car show that's coming up, Biking Car Show. Can you still get registered for it? What do you need to do?
Yes, you can still pre-register. It's $10. You can do it at Gearhead Auto Sales. That's his car lot. Or we have an Eventbrite website that you can still do it at. And you can register day of. That's going to be $20 day of.
And there's multiple classes?
Multiple classes. We have several different classes, Jeeps, people who ran out of money and didn't quite get their car finished, we got you hooked up. That's a sample of one of our trophies. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of classes this year.
Okay, awesome. And you guys are going to be raffling off a Harley?
Yes.
Yes.
A 2014 883 Harley Davidson Sportster. It's a retail around, or trade-in value is about $7,000 bike. So wow. We're going to be giving that away. $20 will get you in the drawing.
That's awesome. And of course, you can find more information about all this and where to register on our website later this morning on the morning show page, KOAMnewsnow.com. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
Hope you have a good show this weekend.
Awesome.
All right, we'll be right back.
Mutt Medics, now open at 20th and Main in Joplin.
A community in rural central Minnesota might be small, but it has a really big fish. It's so large, people used to make and serve food inside it.
And though it's not a real fish, it's a work of art. John Lawrenson speaks with a couple that's continuing its dining tradition.
On Lake Winnipegashish, better known as Lake Winnie.
Walleyes. Plenty of Winnie walleyes.
You can catch your fair share of fish, or you can drive just past the town of Bena and let a monster fish catch you.
You're not going to catch this with a regular musky
You're not
lure.
going to catch
You're going to
it.
need a moose or a black bear for bait.
And you're going to need a truck with a winch on to reel it in.
Al and Amy Hemme own the Big Fish Supper Club, which also means they own the giant muskie next door. It was built in 1957 by a man named Wayne Kumpola, and Al remembers seeing the fish on family vacations.
I was 2 months old my first trip up here, and been coming up ever since.
Back then, you could get ice cream out of a drive-up window located on the side of the muskie.
Welcome to the Big Fish.
Burgers and fries were also served inside the belly of the beast. The cooking happened in the fish's tail.
How hot was it back here?
Oh my God, it had to be 200 degrees in here when it was real hot.
Despite the heat, business cooled, and after only a few years, the muskie flopped. But that doesn't mean it failed. In fact, it's found success in other ways.
National Lampoon Vacation.
Because we're the Griswolds.
The Big Fish makes an appearance early in the classic comedy in the form of a postcard.
And there's so many people that watch that movie now, and then they'll quick take a picture of it and send it to our phones. It's like, did you know? We're like, yes, we did know that.
Before Al and Amy bought the supper club in 2010, the muskie was endangered. The building was on the verge of collapsing. But thanks to an anonymous donor and others, the fish was refurbished and saved.
Well, the contractor had to come in and redo all of this.
You could see what he redid.
But much of it is original. The eyes are actually painted over Coca-Cola signs. Many of the teeth are authentic, though dental work is occasionally needed.
We ask that people do not hang on the teeth because the teeth are very old.
Nowadays, visitors come from all over to stay at the resort or eat at the supper club, but they never miss a chance to grab a photo of the fish. Good thing, too, because Al isn't sure how he'd even begin to get rid of it.
This would not fit on your wall at home.
I don't think so. And if you do have a wall that big, more power to you.
I love our place. I love our people. I love watching the kids grow through the years, and they become like family. So it's very, very nice.
That is awesome.
That's a very large fish for sure.
Well, that is a supper club, and a lot of times when you have supper, you want to have dessert. Today is National Pecan Pie Day.
And we have some pecan pie.
Chris has never eaten a pecan pie.
I don't think I have. I mean, it's possible, and I just don't remember. But
this particular one came from Circle's Pecan and Country Store, so he's going to dig into that as we go to break, I guess.
I will. And we're going to tell you about our alert day for us today. We've got dangerous heat across the area, and we've got the threat for severe weather overnight. We'll be right back.
Shortcake snowball slush float. Sonic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. A new online voter registration system launched in Oklahoma on Tuesday. The system allows people to complete and submit a voter registration application electronically. Voters will have to submit their Oklahoma driver's license or state identification card during the application process, and it must match your information. You can find a link to register to vote online through our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The auction for the historic Reddings Mill Inn is postponed. It was originally scheduled for Tuesday. The public will still have a chance to own a piece of history. The auction will include several pieces of furniture and appliances, as well as the building. It is rescheduled for July 18th at 10 a.m. at the Newton County Courthouse in Neosho. Well, some area middle school kids dip their toes into science lessons. Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School is hosting its Summer Discovery Academy. It includes biology lessons such as looking at bees and a robotics class. Summer Academy gives these kids an opportunity to get a jump start to the new school year.
Doing summer enrichment helps children when they get back into school in the fall. And there's so many talented students in this area that we want to offer something throughout the month of July where they can come and do that enrichment and be ready to go to school in the fall.
Some pre-K and kindergarten kids got in on the fun too. They went to a Young Scholars Academy and a Studio Art Academy, among other things. The Summer Discovery Academy continues through Friday. And kids in Jasper County got to show off their agriculture projects. It was the first day of the county's youth fair yesterday. Tuesday's events included a horse and mule show, farm and mechanics exhibits, and 2 rabbit shows, one for big rabbits and one for small ones.
A lot of kids like to show rabbits because they don't have land, and rabbits are one of the many things that you can show that you can keep at home, whether it's in your backyard, whether it's in the house. This is one of the things that you can keep that you don't have to have a lot of farmland for. So you have a lot of little kids that live in rural areas that can show these things versus having room for a cow or room for a pig.
The youth fair will run through Saturday.
Well, we've got an alert day for us today. We've got dangerous heat heading into the afternoon and strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. With the heat, we have heat advisory southeast Kansas through 9 tonight, Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, and southwest Missouri through 7, Ottawa and Delaware counties and northeast Oklahoma until 8, and then excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma through 8 o'clock tonight. Today, we're looking at highs in the 100-degree range, maybe a little above 100 with heat index values of 105 to 110. Dangerous heat. Make sure you're taking precautions if you're outside. And then after midnight tonight, we've got strong to severe thunderstorms that are going to be rolling through. They're still looking to sweep through southwest Missouri, but some new information suggests this line might become a little bit longer back into southeast Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma as we go through the morning hours with some redevelopment possible. That's why our rain chances really pick up as we head overnight and into early tomorrow morning. In terms of the severe threat, we have been updated. We still have a low-wind tornado threat across the area, but as you can see, it has expanded further west into the south. We also have the elevated hail risk and that elevated wind risk. The hail risk has also been expanded to the south and to the west. Wind risk still covering all of us, and those hatch marks indicating the possibility of very large hail and damaging wind gusts 70, 80 miles an hour. We'll continue to monitor the severe storms and the heat across the area and have more on your full forecast here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. It's time for Erie, Kansas to gather and celebrate the town's 150th annual Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion. There's lots to do at this year's event, and that includes a beer garden, free inflatables, a fireworks show, and a parade that will be on Saturday. But of course, if you come to the reunion, you can't miss out on the free bean feed, which is 1,200 pounds of Navy beans.
50 years ago, the Army beans means beans. So, and for some reason back then, they decided to take a day off. And they just took a day off and huddled up, cooked their tents, set up their tents, set up their bonfires, cooked some beans, told stories, probably had a few drinks, whatever, and they really thought that was good. It was good for morale back then. It'd probably be good for morale right now.
The 150th annual Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion continues through the 15th. The Joplin Police Department welcomed 2 new members to its team, and there are a couple of dogs named Vice and Koa. The dogs' handlers gave live demonstrations to show how they will be used, and those demonstrations included apprehensions and narcotics searches. The dogs are also trained in building clearing, tracking, and obedience.
You don't want them letting go of a bite and rebiting over and over again. So we want them to keep strong on that single bite, that first bite. So that's what he was doing there. They shouldn't show that someone fighting them shouldn't really affect them based on how we train. So that's what he's doing there. It doesn't really affect him if someone's fighting him. He's gonna keep that bite.
The canines underwent a 6-week training process before they were certified for police work. The dogs and their handlers will continue to train every week in order to maintain their skills. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a World War II veteran celebrates his 97th birthday with a fitness challenge.
And we've got the threat for dangerous heat today and strong to severe thunderstorms tonight. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back. But first, here's another live look from Cherryvale for the Cherryvale Youth Fair. A World War II veteran in Arizona celebrated his birthday with a feat of strength, an ambitious goal that would be difficult for most people, but as Cameron Pollum reports, this 97-year-old made it look easy.
Had a good night's sleep. I didn't think I would, but I did.
David Kagi warmed up his body Monday morning inside Mountainside Fitness in Mesa.
Happy birthday, all that, man. I appreciate it.
Today is the World War II veteran's 97th birthday. In honor of that, the lifelong fitness fanatic decided to celebrate it with a feat of strength, an annual challenge that began with 85 push-ups in under a minute when he was in his 20s.
And I've been doing something like that ever since. Well, that's a long time ago.
Whether it's jumping out of an airplane for his 70th birthday, bench pressing 225 pounds for his 82nd, or 83 straight push-ups at 90, he's always on the hunt for something different.
Going all the way over, down, over.
This year he'll carry 100 pounds for 100 yards, an ambitious goal, but far from surprising. Since his time in the Air Force, he's pushed his body to the limits, a key, he says, to staying young.
It works, and I recommend it for anybody that wants to live to be 100, and I will.
And I've heard many stories.
From members of Mountainside,
I'm excited to see what your next challenge is after you conquer this one.
I'll think of something.
Today is a chance to cheer on one of their own.
These young, beautiful young ladies walk in here, and already I feel 10 years younger.
I hope I'm doing the same thing at his age. I mean, that's what motivates me to come to the gym, is people like this.
By the time Dave took his first steps, dozens began chanting his name. Plodding along with a 40-pound dumbbell in one hand, a 30 in another, 15 pounds of ankle weights around each leg, Dave made it look easy. Rewarded with the perfect song and just enough breath to blow out the candles. An inspiring accomplishment that can only be topped by what he'll probably do next.
Certainly an impressive feat, very inspirational to say the least. And like that lady said, I'm hopeful I could be doing that at his age as well. We'll be back with more right after this, and we're going to have another full check of your forecast, talking about our alert day today for some dangerous heat across the area and the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms overnight when we come back.
Tornado at Denver Mattress ends soon.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 now on this Wednesday morning. We got a lot to talk about here. First, we have heat advisories. Southeast Kansas through 9 o'clock tonight. Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, and Southwest Missouri until 7. Ottawa, Delaware counties, heat advisories until 8. The rest of Northeast Oklahoma, that's an excessive heat warning until 8 tonight as well, because it is going to be dangerously hot today. Cannot emphasize it enough. If you have to be outdoors, you need to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, because it is dangerous heat outside as we head into the afternoon. It's already really muggy now. Let's head down the road. We're looking at highs today at 100 degrees, perhaps a little bit over, and heat index values of 105 to 110. And then as we head overnight, we're looking at the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. So by midnight, we start to see them creeping in. By 2 a.m., here are those strong to severe thunderstorms. That batch kind of congealed into southwest Missouri, but as I mentioned earlier, take a look back here. Some new data starting to suggest we could see a bigger line of storms that'll stretch across parts of southeast Kansas back toward Wichita and sweep through the area at roughly the same time. Just a bigger batch of storms. Once that rolls through, we could see some redevelopment of some strong storms between about, say, 6 and 9 a.m. Then we clear out and we get really hot again tomorrow before we see another round of strong, possibly low-grade severe thunderstorms heading overnight Thursday into Friday across the area. So that's something else that we're going to have to watch. Our rain chances, of course, ramping up as we head into the overnight hours tonight. So, of course, we'll be tracking this for you. And in terms of the severe threat, we have that low-end tornado risk for a good portion of the area, so that's something we'll watch closely. But the biggest threat right now looks to be hail and damaging wind gusts across the area. And these hatched areas are indicating where we could see large, very large hail, 2 inches in diameter or greater, and wind gusts 70 to 80 miles an hour. So a lot to keep an eye on. Tomorrow night into Friday morning, we've got the low-end risk for some strong thunderstorms. And then Friday into Saturday morning, we have a low to elevated risk for more strong to severe thunderstorms. Right now, though, we are mostly clear out there, sitting at 73, dew point humidity both very high across the area. Temperatures are mild now, but they're really going to heat up. 76 Fort Scott, 75 Nevada, 74 Pittsburgh, 71 Parsons, 75 Chautauqua, Miami, and 72 in Neosho. So we get our morning started. Again, mostly clear skies, near 90 by late morning. Our highs today at or slightly above 100 degrees under those mostly clear skies. And a reminder, heat index values 105 to 110. No relief from the heat through the evening, maybe a stray early shower or two by 10. Big activity again after midnight tonight, lows back into the lower 70s. Possible alert day tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised if we go ahead and put that up, as we are expecting additional strong thunderstorms and more heat. More heat Friday, and then by the weekend, we get to cool off a bit into the upper 80s. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Fox 14.
Well, the titans of the Jurassic world could soon become a part of yours. Marianne Rafferty takes a closer look at the rare fossils that are about to hit the auction block.
Plus, the world's largest dinosaur theme park and the recent discovery of a new dinosaur species.
They dominated the planet millions of years ago. Now experts at Sotheby's hope rare fossils from 2 prehistoric beasts will dominate the auction block later this month.
This is a Jurassic period specimen.
These are the fossilized remains of a plesiosaur, a water-dwelling reptile that lived about 190 million years ago. The skeleton was discovered in England, and if you think it looks familiar, you're not alone.
Many people believe that the silhouette of the Loch Ness Monster, so-called Loch Ness Monster, was inspired by this creature.
Meanwhile, this pteranodon could also be yours. Discovered in Kansas, this flying predator has a wingspan that stretches 19 feet. And unlike other fossils that were sold before, officials say both specimens are unique because they're so well preserved.
You can see the ribs are just absolutely gorgeous. The gastralia, the hips, the pelvis, everything looks fantastic.
Meanwhile, if fossils aren't your speed, thrill seekers are flocking to the jungles of Brazil to see massive animatronic dinosaurs. The world's largest dino-themed park features 40 life-size dinosaurs like T-Rex, long necks, and more. This comes as archaeologists in Chile are highlighting the recent discovery of a new species of duck-billed dinosaurs. Scientists use small pieces of fossil to digitally reconstruct what these one-ton creatures would have looked like.
That's absolutely incredible.
That's cool. Pretty soon we'll have a real Jurassic Park.
I have no doubt.
Hey, we got AI technology that's pretty much doing everything now, so it's coming.
Yeah.
Whether we learn from the movies. Okay.
No,
Well, meanwhile, the big bones at Sotheby's are expected to fetch big bucks, and that is on July 26th.
With the specimen's estimated value between $600,000 and $6 million. So, yeah, that's something I don't think I'm going to be bidding on anytime soon, unfortunately. We do have, at least here locally, it's going to feel like the jungle out there. It is going to be hot. It's going to be humid. We have heat advisories across the area. We've got heat advisories in southeast Kansas that run until 9 o'clock tonight. And then Bourbon, Cherokee, Crawford counties in southeast Kansas, and then the rest of southwest Missouri, these run until 7. Heat advisories, Ottawa, Delaware County run until 8 tonight. And then excessive heat warnings for the rest of northeast Oklahoma also running through 8 tonight as well. We also have to contend with the strong to severe thunderstorms. Those are going to start to roll in after midnight tonight, and that's when our rain chances will pick up between midnight and say 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And in terms of our severe threat, we've got a low-end tornado risk across the area, elevated hail, elevated wind risk across here. Hail and wind are the primary threats with these hatched areas indicating where we could see very large hail in excess of 2 inches in diameter, and wind gusts in that hatched area to the north could be 70, 80 miles an hour. In terms of our temperatures today, though, it is miserable. We are looking at highs at or slightly above 100 degrees and heat index values of 105 to 110, so make sure you're taking precautions out there. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Erie, Kansas came out to honor and celebrate veterans at the 150th Old Soldiers and Sailors Reunion. This event includes a beer garden, free inflatables, fireworks show, and a parade, and that will be on the 15th. But of course, if you come to the reunion, you can't miss out on the free bean feed, which means 1,200 pounds of Navy beans. Out with the old and in with the new. Demolition is underway on Joplin's Columbia Elementary School. Columbia and West Central students combined to start classes in the new Dover Hill Elementary, which opened in January. Back in May, former students had the chance to take one last walk through Columbia Elementary and reminisce. You can see more of the demolition and read about the history of Columbia Elementary on our KOAM News Now app. And a new online voter registration system launched in Oklahoma on Tuesday. The system allows people to complete and submit a voter registration application electronically. Voters will have to submit their Oklahoma driver's license or state identification card during the application process, and it must match your information. You can find a link to register to vote online through our website through KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin Police Department welcomes 2 new members to its team. There are a couple of dogs named Vice and Koa. The dogs' handlers gave live demonstrations to show how they will be used, and those demonstrations include apprehensions and narcotic searches. The dogs are also trained in building, clearing, tracking, and obedience.
All All right, alert day today, dangerous heat, highs at or slightly above 100. Heat index values 105 to 110. Make sure you're taking precautions out there, and we'll have mostly clear skies otherwise. No relief from the heat through the evening, staying hot. Strong to severe thunderstorms possible overnight tonight between about midnight and 6 a.m. as we go into the lower 70s. And as we look ahead, a possible alert day for us tomorrow as highs reach 99. Strong storms tomorrow night into Friday, severe storms Friday night into Saturday, staying hot and then cooling down by this weekend into the upper 80s.
Well, Thanksgiving in July? Pie lovers can rest easy this summer because July 12th is National Pecan Pie Day.
Generally considered a Southern specialty, pecan pie is made with ingredients like sweet sugary syrup, salt, vanilla, and of course, pecans.
And if you're feeling like celebrating, add a whiskey to your pie for a nice kick. Top with whipped cream or vanilla ice cream to enjoy all the high-calorie after-dinner dessert has to offer.
Now, since there's no whipped cream or anything on top of this, am I to assume there's whiskey in it?
Not in this particular one.
Okay.
But we could do that. This one came from Circle's Pecan and Country Store.
And it's not bad. Not bad at
Chris
all.
had his first pecan pie.
I did. I could have had one years ago and just don't remember. But well, we want to thank you so much for letting us put the good and some pecan pie into your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.